Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Taisho Alice, and we are just continuing where we left off. So, later that evening, as soon as I finished my classes for the day, I headed straight to Gretel's school. By now, classes had already ended for the day. I could spot students on the streets headed home. Arriving at the school gates, I walked over to a nearby pillar and leaned against it. I could hear the shouts of the sports teams and faint music from the brass band. Gretel was in his last year of community college, so he wasn't a part of any club. Thus, I could reliably expect him to leave campus relatively early. As the students passed through the gates, they all stared at the weird girl hanging around their school. And that said, I was already on familiar terms with a lot of them, so I just smiled and waved. This was just another part of my daily routine. But that day, Gretel didn't turn up at his usual time. He's really late. I glanced over at the school entrance again and again. But all the clubless students had already left by now, so the doors weren't opening. One of the boys' sports teams waved at me as they jogged laps around campus. I shot them a supportive thumbs up. Minutes passed. 10, 20, 30. Then, as I started to contemplate what to make for dinner, a girl walked out through the gates, raised her hand to me in greeting, then hurried off. Do I know her? I waved back at her to be polite, but I didn't recognize her face. Puzzled, I tilted my head, but just then, a voice called out to me from behind. Oh my God, Gretel, was she waving at you? You're locking us up, but... You whore. Oh my God. Sorry for the wait, sister. Instantly, my face brightened up at the familiar voice, but I restrained myself to a small smile as I turned back, my skirt fluttering with emotion. It seems like she's a little too in love with her brother, is all I'm saying. So I guess we're both fucked up, so. Hi, Gretel. Don't worry, I wasn't waiting long. I looked up at him, batting my lashes like a magazine model, as I replied with the most cliché stock answer known to mankind. Again, this, batting her eyes up. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or you just really into your fucking brother, so, I mean, there's a lot of fucked upness going on in this route. Spare me the BS, would you? Let's just get going. And he blew me off completely. Hey, wait! Why is he being so salty with me? Maybe because you're flirting with him and he's secretly in love with you, but he thinks that you're just fucking around with him? Being mean and teasing him, but I don't know, the way you act seems a little... This is a weird family dynamic. That reminds me, Wolf was really upset about what you did this morning. He was like, he ruined my hot guy rep, dude. I'll never forgive him for this. I did my best Wolf impression. Spoken like a sore loser. How very fitting. If you ask me, I only wrote the facts. I thought back to the contents of his message. Warning, I'm a stupid horny wolf who preys on all the girls. Awoo! I mean, yeah, he is pretty horny. See? I was trying to stand up for him, but instead I ended up validating Gretel's insults. I can practically hear him shrieking, Dude, you're such a jerk! Sorry, Wolf. Trust me, it's the least he deserves. If his attitude towards me was salty, then his attitude toward Wolf was rock salty. Rock salt. As my heart quietly went out to Wolf, my eyes met Gretel's. Then he came to a stop, so I followed suit. What's up? The setting sun illuminated his face, softening his expression. He seemed to have something on his mind. After a pause, he opened his mouth to speak. I hate you, you titsy dumbass! What? I was caught completely off guard. The look on his face was so serious, I never would have imagined he was about to insult me. I don't think he hates us, because I don't think you'd lock your sister up and do all the weird, creepy, pervy things that he's been doing. I'm just saying. And now I feel better. He smiled as though a weight had been lifted from his shoulders, but I was still at a loss. Dude, you're such a jerk! Not funny, Gretel. On our way home, I tried to find out what it was that inspired him to call me a ditzy dumbass, but he stubbornly refused to tell me. Nande. Why? Honey, the fuck? We're home. My voice is broken if you can't tell. I do not know what is happening, but... Upon arriving home, I went straight to the kitchen and pulled on my apron. Inhale, exhale. Wait. There you go. Closing my eyes, I took a deep breath. Rah! Then opened my eyes and slammed the rock salt as hard as I could. Whew! The pink crystal broke into small pieces. From there, I'd grind it into a powder with a hammer. Yes, I was using rock salt as an ingredient in tonight's dinner. What was that all about, anyway? I wasn't the kind of girl who got off on insults. Instead, I dug through the day's events to investigate the cause. As I recalled, we'd been discussing Wolf right beforehand. Could that have anything to do with it? And if so, was it purely because Gretel despised Wolf from the bottom of his heart, or maybe he's totally jealous of him? What are you smirking about? Ah! Just then, the sudden voice behind me made me slam the rock salt in surprise. Jesus! Be careful with that hammer, please. You'll hurt yourself. Or maybe you could stop sneaking up on me like that. Okay. Please just put the hammer down, alright? Recoiling, Gretel indicated the hammer I was holding aloft. Oh, right. Sorry. I snapped back to my senses and put the hammer on the counter. So, weren't you supposed to be studying? I was going to, but then I randomly decided to come check on you instead. Oh, you randomly decided? Just randomly? This is some Sixth Sense crap. Did you hear what I was saying? Of course I did. You said he's totally jealous of him, correct? What? No! I said, I've got lint in my belly button. Disgusting. Keep your vulgarities to yourself. Ow! With a glare, he karate chopped me on the head. Sorry, it just slipped out. As I clenched my head, Gretel put his hand on his hips and shook his head. Good grief. I wish you wouldn't forget the fact that you're a lady. Huh? At this, Gretel's expression shifted to an unspoken, oh crap. So I pounced. Sorry, I missed it. Could you repeat that? Why should I? Because I didn't hear you the first time. What's with that little smirk? You're being a creep. Yep, I'm a creep. Now go on. Come on. Mo ichido. One more time. As I pestered him, Gretel finally snapped. Oh, for God's sakes. What I said was, you're technically a woman, so act like it. Oh, I see. I get it now. Yeah, I'm a girl. I'm a girl, you know. A girl like me ought to think before she speaks. He didn't normally acknowledge my gender at all, so it tickled me. In contrast to my amusement, however, Gretel looked furious. That rock salt, is that an ingredient in tonight's dinner? He was very clearly trying to change the subject. Don't worry, little bro. I'll take the bait for you. Yeah, it is. I'd like to use some too. You don't mind, do you? Not at all. What are you making this time? I was thinking of making rock salt ice cream. But it's winter. So? I'll be eating it in my room. Ice cream in winter is the ultimate luxury. But I won't ask you to understand. After all, I'm the one who'll be eating it. I want some too. I raised my hand eagerly. You see, sweets are the perfect stress reliever. Huh. I didn't know you ever got stressed out. Keep pushing me and I'm gonna punch you. He balled his hand into a fist. But I'm a girl! I raised both hands in surrender. Then, out of nowhere, his expression turned deadly serious. My heart skipped a beat. Sister, would you like me to explain to you why I called you a dumbass? Huh? Yeah, sure. Well, you see... Huntsman. He's just calling it like he sees it. Ryoshi. Wasn't he in... He was actually... Wait, wasn't he our brother in one of them? Yeah, okay, he's still our brother in this one. I was stopping to think and I didn't even read the line, but he was our... When we... It was in Red Riding Hood's route. Yes, and it's like, so he's playing our brother again. Okay, so look, we have this route here with Gretel, who's like our brother and whatever, right? And this is weird rom. Why don't we get to romance him? Because he's kind of hot, is all I'm saying. But anyway. Just then, who should cut into the conversation but my lollipop-loving older brother? Here's the lunchbox back. He set the now-empty lunchbox on top of my head. I don't remember the voice we gave him, and it's not 100% important because unfortunately we don't get to romance him, but he is pretty. It's the hair. He's got pretty hair. I grabbed it and looked up at him. What are you doing here? It's my house too, you know. I mean, yeah, but you never come over. Supposedly our house was too far from his workplace, so Ryoshi rented his own place to save on commute time. Well, Mom and Dad asked me to stop by every now and then to check on you two. There's nothing to check. We're fine. Oh no, we're 19. 18 to 19. We're barely adults. Speak for yourself. He smacked me over the head. And then he pulled the lollipop out of his mouth and looked at Gretel, who had yet to say a word. Welcome home, Mr. Hunter. Gretel never addressed my brother by name, only his title. Thanks. How's school? Going well, and no issues at present. So it seems. End of conversation. Hastily, I cut in to break up the awkward tension. So, like, I'm just wondering if he's actually our brother and then he's our stepbrother. You know what I mean? Because he's actually our brother in every route so far. Didn't we have him as our brother in, like... I know he was because he was in... He would go to school with us. He would show up at school when we would be there talking to Wolf, and that was in Red Riding Hood's route, I think. But I don't remember. He might have been our older brother too in Cinderella's route, but it was like, oh yeah, my family loves him and hates me or something like that. I forget what it was. But why is he always our actual brother? Why is he not like a dateable character? Look, we're already going to be dating one of our brothers. And the characters usually have different relationships to us in all the routes except for him. I don't remember if he was in both, but I know he was in one of them. But anyway. Hastily, I cut in to break up the awkward tension. Ryoshi, why don't you spend the night tonight? We can have whatever you want for dinner. What are you talking about? Just make whatever you were already planning to make. I'll be going now. I've got some studying to do. And with that, Gretel left the room as though he couldn't bear to stay there a single moment longer. He's jealous that other people talk to us, and he can't admit to himself that he thinks of us as a woman. That's why when he says we're a girl, we're like, oh, you acknowledge I'm a girl. He's like, shut up. He doesn't want to acknowledge we're a girl because then I have to acknowledge the raging hard-on that he has for his older sister. It's creepy and weird, but... Alright. Still, not the most disturbing part of this. It's when he insults me. God. Like, you should just act like a woman. Ugh. Maybe you'll be better with your sex appeal. You know what? Don't insult me. I can't have candy because it'll make me fat. You know what? You're just rude. That's what I don't like about Gretel. Don't insult my, like, looks. Call me fat is rude. Hurt me like that.
Hi, what you doing? You're very excited. What you talking to outside? What are you talking to outside? Hi. Yeah, you're so cute. You could come over here and snuggle if you want. Come here.
Hey, wait! Hold it. Before I could chase after him, however, Ryoshi stopped me. What? I can see you two are getting along, but you shouldn't let your guard down completely. Excuse me? I responded in a flat, icy voice. He was talking about Gretel as if he was some dangerous criminal. Ryoshi narrowed his eyes and pointed his lollipop in my face. You, Mom, and Dad all seem to trust him, but I don't. He's not your real little brother, got it? Did we adopt him? Well, see, thank God for Ryoshi. Thank you for showing up and telling me what I've just been begging this game to, like, I'm pretty sure in the Steam page it says he's like your he's your stepbrother or something, but everyone keeps saying brother, 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 sister, sister. Okay, I just needed the reassurance, okay? Like, because I keep forgetting to read the Steam page and be like, please, or like, was it typed wrong? Is he actually our brother? That's so gross. Stepbrother, I'm fine with this. Like, I'm sorry. There's no blood relation. It's a little weird, but it's not as weird. Later at dinner, normally Gretel and I would be having a fun time eating and chatting right about now, but tonight was very different. It was quiet, unnaturally quiet. Not in this house. The slightest clink of the silverware grated on me. Both of them ate my tomato-simmered chicken, rock salt soup, and rock salt salad in total silence. So, how's the food? Unable to take the awkwardness any longer, I spoke in my most cheerful voice. It's so funny because he looks like he rolled out of like some kind of like period piece, right? You know, we're always wearing dress and tights and like he looks like he rolled out of the modern day, so I don't even know what the fucking time period is going on. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, Wolf looks normal. We were wearing a onesie. It's kind of like, there is like just no, it's just like a hodgepodge of like the most random shit. Silence. I tried to play mediator, but my attempt went completely ignored. If only Wolf were here. With his aggressive optimism, surely the two of us could get the ball rolling. But alas. If I can't count on my teammates, then I'll just have to score a goal myself. Clearly my mistake was that I had framed it as an open question. This time, I decided I would tailor my questions to each person. If that didn't work, well, I'd probably be devastated, honestly. How are things going lately, Ryoshi? What do you mean, how are things going? You know what I mean. What's new with you? Your health, your job, your love life, anything. I have a perfect bill of health. My job is nothing special. And as for my love life, I can't complain. Perfect! Now I just need to keep the conversation going. That reminds me, you're always making girls cry, aren't you? Why, just the other day we had some haughty lady storm in and demand to see you. Right, Gretel? A new topic of conversation. My brother's womanizing ways. I mean, he's like the perfect Otome character. He's like a womanizing douchebag. Hello? That's like the perfect... There's always that character. Character is always in all the games. Why is he not in this one? Kind of had that Cinderella, I guess. It's more after our money and like whatever, but I'm just saying. Surely we could find some common ground to have a fun moment together. I don't remember that. Gretel stared blankly back. You don't? I looked at Ryoshi. He glared back with a look that said, keep your mouth shut. Sorry, guess you weren't there. My plan had completely backfired. Instead of softening the tension, I added to it. I mean... Come on. You're such a whore, right? Isn't he a whore? Oh, yeah, he was gonna take that one well. I think this is what they call a self-own. But I'm not giving up yet. Gretel, are you still planning to make rock salt ice cream after this? Can I help? This time, I addressed Gretel. About that. Sorry, but I think I should focus on my studies tonight. In an instant, my one ray of hope was snuffed out. Aww. I groaned sadly. At this, Gretel stopped eating and frowned at me, conflicted. Now this was an unusual reaction. Just make it with her, would you? Then Ryoshi spoke, and Gretel's expression closed off altogether. I have to study. His voice was cold and hard. May he please be excused. He rose from his seat. I'll wash your plate for you, okay? Thank you. And so, after rinsing his dirty dishes, he left the room. Once the door had closed behind him, I hissed at Ryoshi. This is all your fault! What did I do? He scowled at me in annoyance. Your attitude makes Gretel feel uncomfortable. You've got it backwards, kid. He hates me. I mean, we're not even fighting. You're reading too much into it. Then be nicer to him. I have been. There's just nothing more I can do at this stage. He rose to his feet. Gretel is jealous of every single thing that's not a girl in our life, which is basically everything. I mean, we've got Gretel, we've got Wolf, and we've got the Huntsman. Weird. Lest you forget, I got my own place as a courtesy to him, remember? And with that, he walked out. Alone, I ate the rest of my soup in silence. Shh. Come in. With his blessing, I opened the door and entered Gretel's room. And this is why Gretel kidnapped us. All the while, I kept my surprise hidden behind my back. Gretel, how's studying going? Making any progress? He didn't look up from his desk. Yeah, I guess. Am I interrupting? I can come back later if you want. You're not. It's fine. Then finally, he turned to look at me. I smell sugar. Cat's out of the bag, huh? You can't keep it from me. I have a sixth sense for sweets. A sweet sixth sense. Sixth sense sweets? As I fidgeted with excitement, he beckoned to me. Happily, I hurried over and showed him what I was hiding. Ta-da! I made you some rock salt cookies. You made them for me? Well, we were going to make rock salt ice cream, but then you ran off back here to study. So since you're being such a hard worker, I thought I'd reward you with a treat. A sweet scent filled the room as I opened the jar of cookies. I felt around for one that was still warm and pulled it out and held it up to his mouth. Say, ah. Wow. Oh. Ah, he said, ah. I didn't read that. I don't know what is wrong with my voice. Apparently I read too much. He hesitated for a moment, but ultimately caved to the bewitching power of sweets. I pushed the cookie into his mouth, and he started to chew slowly. Once I saw him swallow, I asked, was it good? 30 points. Well, that's better than a 0. Not by much, but oh well. And they're hard as a rock, and no real crunch to them. And when you bite into a cookie, you're supposed to hear it crumble. And these don't have that. Also, they're powdery in the middle, which means the dough is extremely undermixed. The key to mixing a neat and uniform cookie dough is to start by folding it, then kneading it. Mind you, I'm cutting you a lot of slack here since you're my sister, but these are the most amateur cookies I've ever eaten. And so Gretel went on a long, long rant. He was dead serious, too. He was making eye contact the entire time. But he's the baker and the sweets maker, so... And by the average person's standards, I'd say they're worth 60 points. This point promotion almost got me excited, but then I realized it wasn't much of an improvement. I'll take your feedback into consideration for next time. There doesn't have to be a next time. Huh? Why not? I was expecting him to say please do, so this caught me off guard. Because, well, his voice faltered. Then, as I stared at him in confusion, he suddenly snatched the jar of cookies out of my hands. Hey! By the way, did you give him any of these? Him who? He didn't respond, which meant he was probably talking about Ryoshi. No, silly! I made these specifically for you! See, we're being nice and sweet and we bat our eyes and we make him cookies and he thinks we're in love with him. Because he's a little in love with us. We kind of started this shit. Got no one to blame but ourselves. I see. Smiling to himself slightly, he pulled out another cookie and shoved it into his mouth. Evidently, he was planning to eat them despite their poor quality. Do you not like Ryoshi? He froze. You know, sister... You're ridiculously gifted, aren't you? Yeah, maybe. What about it? I knew he was changing the subject, but I went with it anyway. You've got a pretty face, a great figure, a perky personality. You're smart, and you can cook, too. Oh, so don't tell me that I'm going to lose my sex appeal, because apparently I have a pretty face and a great figure, so I have sex appeal. Fuck off with that bullshit, then. Trying to put me down to make me feel bad, to make me feel indebted to you. You know what? Apparently we're going to take it and we're going to love it, I guess. I don't know. Whoa, what's going on? This is uncharacteristically nice of you. Were you really craving cookies or something? Or has all that studying made you delirious? pressed my palm to his forehead, but he smacked it away. He's mean and nasty to us because he doesn't want to admit he wants to bone us. I'm just going with that. Seems feasible. I'm not joking around here. This is simply my external evaluation. Thanks? He wants to get an internal evaluation, if you know what I mean. Oh dear God, what's wrong with me? If these were honest compliments, then they deserved an honest thank you. You must get a lot of male attention. And that's why you're jealous. Literally, there's no other woman in this game. We mention our mother, but that's it. There's literally no other woman in this game. There's only 4 characters so far. Not counting Alice. But again, also, not a woman, so... Yeah, I guess. He pursed his lips bitterly. No attempt was made to conceal the displeasure on his face. In my opinion, you're almost perfect. Except for your personality. Ouch. Are you saying I should keep my mouth shut? No, not at all. If anything, you should talk more. Let them see the real you. That way they'll change their minds. Oh my God, that's more hurtful than you saying I'm gonna be fat. So the more I talk, the less anyone likes me? The panic in my voice brought me to my senses. Wait a minute. No, I'm not jealous. Don't willfully misinterpret my statements. Bullshit, you aren't. Oh, okay. I stared into space, defeated, as my last ray of hope was promptly dashed. Well, he's not gonna admit he's jealous. A girl in my class confessed to me today. Confessed what? Her feelings for me. Asked me out, that kind of thing. Oh, huh. Cool. See, oh my God, no, we're in love with, oh my God, this is some weird shit going on. My voice came out flatter than I was expecting, but he's not our real brother, it's okay. In terms of romantic interest, Gretel probably received quite a lot himself, since he had such a cute face. Wait, is that why you were late leaving school today? Yes, actually. She had asked me to meet me after school. She had asked to meet me after school, sorry. I thought back to the girl who had passed through the gates just before Gretel. Was that her? Unlike you, she's very cute. You just said I had a nice face and a good body, and that unlike you, she's cute. I'm just sensing that the hostility with him. Unlike you, she's like, it's like you're in denial that you want to fuck your sister. Wow, okay. You could just, you know what? Just accept your feelings and don't be a dick about it. It's just the insulting me. It hurts my feelings. The rest of the fucked upness, tying me up, I mean, I'm like, alright. The cage part might get a little triggering. Unlike you, she's very cute, meek and quiet, kind of girl that evokes a protective instinct. Yeah, well, I'm sorry I have a personality. That's more than a doormat, but okay. It sounded an awful lot like he was implying I was an ugly, loud, annoying, and not worth protecting at all. Alright, you know what? Truth hurts. One minute I was on cloud 9 from all of his compliments, and now this. He was knocking me around like a ping pong ball. Gaslight. But I turned her down. What? You did? How come? My pitch spiked to match my mood. It's like with desserts. The more delicacies you consume, the more refined your palate becomes. Eventually your standards will no longer be satisfied with the ordinary. And yet you ate my below-ordinary cookies. I'm just saying. Okay. My gaze drifted to the jar of amateur cookies in his hands. After spending time with you, my standards have risen considerably. He's literally the epitome of that child. Like when he pulls your hair because he's in love with you. That's him. That's literally him. It's actually kind of funny because, like, I don't think I've ever, like, really stopped and went, wow, so people who, like, create Otome characters are like, wait. Let's take that obnoxious, like, oh, the boy likes you when he pulls your hair. Seriously, don't treat women like that. And, like, make it the most obnoxious fucking person on Gretel. Okay. God, just insulting you constantly because he's in love with you and just, oh my God, just man the fuck up and admit you want to bone your sister. Stop being a dick about it. Because it's not sexy. The insulting me is the part I don't like. Tying me to the bed, I'm like, okay, what, like, bitch, psh, whatever. I can handle some, like, okay. Like, Sasazuka in Color X Malice is like a dick and he insults you. God, you're dumb. Ugh, whatever. But it's like so, like, it's not like, I feel like it's not as constant as this. He is just literally picking apart everything. I mean, God, you're ugly. God, you're gonna get fat. Ugh, and it's like, I know it's literally just because he doesn't want to admit that he wants to fuck us, but, like, simmer it down, God. Just go to a therapist or something. Get some help. Jesus. Oh, it's too much. You can't stop. You can never be nice to me, can you? The second you're like, yeah, no, this cookie isn't bad, it's like, then it's just a barrage of fucking insults for like 4 hours. Just such a douche. I'm not sure how I feel. Like, I'm not a huge fan of sometimes this, like, trope. Like, but I don't know. There's a part of me that is like the weird, like, but he's like your brother and we are clearly interested in him. And it just makes it kind of an intriguing story. Like, I am not gonna lie. I don't hate it, and I should. I should hate this just for his attitude and everything, but I'm just like, completely, like, 'cause she is like, she's absolutely acting like she's into him. And like, so girl, confess to you. Oh my God, you're jealous. Oh my God, this is so fucked up. And my fucked up brain is like, yes, this is disturbing. I don't know. He just needs to simmer down the insults, though. Just half them a little bit, okay? Wait, so you turned her down because she doesn't measure up compared to me? It felt incredibly arrogant to say out loud, but I wanted to make sure I was understanding him correctly. I thought he was going to say because we're so obnoxious, his standards have risen. It's like, no, you're on the bottom and my standards are just exorbitant. That's what I thought he was trying to say. At this, Gretel rose to his feet and pinched my nose. Yeah. This is exactly why I called you a dumbass. Gretel, never had I felt so happy to be insulted. If this was what it meant to be a dumbass, then so be it. I don't think I did not get that that's what he was trying to say, so. Sister, wake up. Sister. I could feel someone shaking me, but my drowsiness was stronger, keeping my eyelids firmly closed. My would-be rouser fell silent, suggesting that he had given up. Thus I was now free to sleep as much as I wanted. If you don't wake up, I'm going to pull a prank on you. Gah! A sudden whisper in my ear made me bolt upright in bed. Good morning, sister. Morning, Gretel. When I opened my leaden eyes, I found Gretel smiling amiably at me. Did you sleep well? Hard to say. My head was fuzzy, probably because I'd only just woken up. I feel like he drugged you, but you ate so long before. In fact, if I wasn't careful, I might just drift off again. Stay awake, please. Meow, meow, meow. We kitty cats are certified nap experts. I'm going to strip you again. Good morning, Gretel. What fine weather we're having. This time I snapped awake completely. Go wash your face and get dressed. He promptly handed me a washcloth and a change of clothes. Okay. Fighting back a yawn. Oh no, I'm gonna yawn now. I headed for the bathroom. That's been in me all day. As much as I wanted to ignore Gretel's pranks, I was on his home turf, so to speak. We were alone together and he was my captor. As my captor, he was also functionally my supervisor and manager. After all, he was in charge of my meals, clothing, baths, everything. And so I had no choice but to follow the path he laid out for me each and every day. Gretel, can we talk? What is it, sister? What on earth am I wearing? The outfit Gretel had prepared for me was a cross between a kimono and an apron. Not only that, but the bottom half was a mini skirt with frilly lace trim. It was adorable. But coming from my little brother? It suits you well. Very cute. Huh, you think so? I wasn't exactly excited to wear a pinafore, but hearing that I looked cute made me happy. Yeah, you look like a waitress in a sleazy establishment. Perverts and creepy old men would love you. And you're a pervert, because you love this. I regret ever trusting you. Relax. And no one has to see you in that humiliating getup except for me. But he's getting his rocks off by this. I think it's the humiliation, but also, like, it's just, he's a fucked up individual. This is what they call a Japanese-style maid dress. I figured wearing it might help you be a little more obedient. A fake it until you make it, as they say. Now then, sister, come here, please. What for? Gretel's smile was as radiant as the morning sun. I braced myself. Relax. I'm not going to mess with you. Bullshit. Has he ever once said that and actually meant it? I don't think so. And there was like some fucking like danger music in the background. It is fucking danger music. As I squinted dubiously at him, he quickly lost his patience. Seizing me by the arm, he yanked me closer to him. The worst part is the violent, angry, like, creepy tendencies, but he just looks at you with this face, this, like, sweet, droopy eyes. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh God. Here. He placed something on my head. What is it? I put a hand on my head and felt something crumpled. It's a headband. A frilly one. You know, the kind you see maids wear? One of those. Yes, it's very cute. Is this what you're into, Gretel? Maids? If I said it was, would you keep wearing it? In that case, I'll say whatever you need me to. I love girls in Japanese-style maid outfits. Frankly, it really gets me going. You're utterly incorrigible, master. If he was going to tease me, then I was going to tease him right back. But she's like playing... He's saying this, but like, she's playing into it like, oh, that's your kink? Alright, master. Like, oh God. I think she wants to get boned by her brother deep down inside. Maybe she doesn't want to be tormented and humiliated, but I still think she might... okay. This is weird. And I'm a little disturbed, but I'm also highly intrigued. And like... This is one of those train wrecks that I'm just enjoying the ride, like... Well done. He patted me on the head as if to reward me. More than an older sister, more than a maid, I felt like his pet. Now then, I need to get going. He grabbed his book bag off the chair. Going where? To school, of course. School? School? He was so casual about it, I failed to react for a second. Obviously, I still have to graduate from community college, you know. Well, sorry for thinking you were too busy kidnapping your sister to go to school. Don't you roll your eyes at me, mister. Then I want to go with you. No, you're perfectly fine right where you are. And just stay here and watch the house for me. Will you stay and watch the house? I feel like if we say no, we're gonna have to go out in this outfit. But, so should we be like totally obedient? That's what he wants, right? Oh God. I have no idea. We're gonna get a bad ending. There's no way we're getting the right ending. Should we just be obedient? Let's just go yes. Don't worry, I'll be back before you know it. I don't want to go out in this outfit. He brushed me off with a sunny smile. Oh, and I made breakfast. Do be sure to eat it. He indicated the kitchen. I looked over then. While I was distracted, Gretel grabbed me by the arm. What? Silly me. I nearly forgot to tie you back up. He spoke with the offhanded tone of someone who forgot to turn the oven off. I can't eat breakfast with my hands tied. I tried to shake him off, but he was stronger, and he swiftly tied my wrists together. Nevertheless, I flailed even harder, and he pinned me to the floor. Ah! You'll be fine. Just bend over and eat it at 90-degree angle, like one of those drinking bird toys. I'll tie your hair back so you won't have to worry about it getting in the food. You know, it'd be a lot less hassle for both of us if you would just not tie me up in the first place. Or, I don't know, chain my ankle to the wall so I can only walk around in a circle as far as the chain will go. I mean, I'm just saying, chain in the middle of the floor and then... I was starting to get legitimately angry at his flagrant disregard for my human rights, plus I can still run out of here with my hands tied. You're starting to piss me off, you know. While I don't enjoy making you upset, it's still preferable to letting you escape. You could just, again, get a million deadbolts and lock the door. Once he finished tying my hands and hair, he rose to his feet as if nothing had happened. I'm sorry, sister, but this is partially your fault. I wanted to feed you while I still had time, but you refused to wake up. I glared up at him from the floor. He crouched down to meet my gaze once more. Then he cupped my chin in his hand, tilted my face up, and whispered sweetly, Now remember, sister, be sure not to set foot outside. Ah! Screaming, I threw a kick at the door. Sure, my skirt flew up and it wasn't very ladylike, but I didn't care. Not like anyone could see me right now. Unfortunately, the door didn't budge. Meanwhile, I was nearly in tears from the pain in my foot. I guess I can't kick it down. I leaned back against the wall and slid down to his sitting position. And then, once I calmed down, I started to think. From the sounds of it, it would appear that the door had two locks, one on the inside and one on the outside. Then why the hell did you tie me up? Oh my god, he's crazy. It made sense, of course. What kind of crappy house would this be if it couldn't be locked from the inside? And since he wanted to keep me inside at all costs, it would make sense for him to invest in a padlock or something similar that could only be unlocked from the outside. Sure, the door was only made of wood, but there was no way I could kick it down by myself. Based on these factors, I concluded that I wasn't getting out through the main exit anytime soon. Not that I need to destroy the door. If I could get my hands free, I could just open the window. For the record, my wrists were tied with cloth, so I could probably free myself if I really wanted to. But no matter how easy it was to get untied, it'd be nearly impossible to tie myself back up. I don't even know what I would do once I got out. I didn't know precisely where this cabin was located beyond in a forest. But Gretel couldn't drive a car, nor could he have carried me very far on foot without assistance. So I had a reasonably good idea of where I was. After all, our town was known for its summer homes, many of which were cute little cottages in the forest. But I still didn't understand the most important part, Gretel's motive. Why would he go to all the trouble of locking me up in here? He said it was to protect me, but from what? How did he arrive at this idea? No guarantee he'll ever actually tell me. Next, I reflected on Gretel's behavior. Sure, he liked to mess around with me, but would he really seek out an empty cabin, make it fit to inhabit, and buy me new clothes, all as a joke? I sincerely doubted it. Anyway, rumble. I looked at the bread sitting on the kitchen counter, cut neatly into bite-sized pieces. Beside it was a cup of what I assumed to be hot chocolate, though it had long since gone cold. My stomach had been growling like crazy for a while now, but I was not a pet, and as such, I refused to eat the food he left out for me. He could bully me and dress me up in whatever costume he wanted, but I still had my dignity. My pride, if you will. Guess I'll sleep until Gretel gets back. I could avoid looking at the food, but my brain still knew it was there. Thus, my only option was to shut myself down. Then, when Gretel got home, I could make him feed me something. Or so I thought. But just then... Huh? I heard a knock and turned in the direction of the sound. What? I jumped to my feet. Who's there? A man was standing outside the window. Did I get a bad ending already? 'Cause that's fast. But this wasn't just any ordinary man. He was wearing a pointed hat and cape with a black cat on his shoulder. Weirdo alert. You're pretty weird yourself, you know. I don't remember his voice either. The weirdo grinned at me. You could leave anytime you wanted, and yet you chose to stay. The rest of the world would find that pretty strange. Oh, but you're a bit estranged from the rest of the world at the moment, so I guess they don't matter. He spoke as though he already knew everything about me and my current circumstances. I rushed over to the window. Do you know my brother Gretel? sure do. Then do you know who I am? Of course. Do you know why we're out here? Obviously I would. He smirked at me knowingly. I'm the wizard, and I know all there is to know. If you wish for me to tell you, then I shall. But do you really want to know? At this, I stopped to think. Who was this man? Was he lying or telling the truth? Whose side was he on? Was this the right move to make? In the end, I decided, I'm sorry. As much as I want to know, I can't ask you. Not right now. And why is that? Sorry, I have to adjust myself. Ugh. I don't know you, but I can tell that you're probably telling the truth when you say you know about me and Gretel. However, you're not the one who trapped me in here. Gretel is. Ah, I see. So you wish to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, I take it. Yeah, sorry to change my mind on you like that. Oh, I don't mind. After all, I don't know why he's decided to lock you up. What? Defeated, I slumped my forehead against the window pane. The loud noise startled the wizard's cat, who bolted. You just said you know everything! No one's perfect, you know? He laughed and shrugged. So you were just screwing with me? Perish the thought. I simply have limits, that's all. While I may appear all-knowing, there are rules I cannot break. His word choice caught my attention, and I narrowed my eyes. Is that because you're Gretel's accomplice? Good question. He smiled without batting a lash. I only know the plot outline and the desired ending. As for anything else, sometimes I don't know what I know, you know? All I could deduce from this was that there wasn't necessarily any confirmation he was Gretel's accomplice. Oh, and if you wanted, I could break you out of there. But you don't want me to, do you? It's not that I want to stay here, but I'll hold off for now. I think she wants to be here. In that case, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do for you at this time. He shrugged sadly. That's demonstrably false, actually. Yeah, false, actually. What? He stared at me, his eyes round as saucers. You think there's nothing you can do for me? Well, I disagree. We're having a conversation, aren't we? As he blinked in surprise, I smirked mischievously at him. Would you chat with me for a while, Mr. Wizard? I'm really bored in here. For a moment he froze, his brown eyes fixed on mine. Then he grinned. Sure, why not? I may not understand your thought process, but I'm happy to kill time with you anytime you need me to. Thank you. Let me go get a chair. But right as I stepped away from the window, a familiar sound caught my attention. It was my stomach, reminding me that I was still human. Are you hungry? Oh God, you heard it? You poor thing. You must be starving. I mean, there is food here, technically. Slumping my shoulders, I glanced at the kitchen. Then why not eat it? I would, except there's one little problem. I turned my back to him and hopped up and down to bring my bound wrists into view. So bend over and eat it like a cat. What is with these people? I would have been tearing my hair out right about now, but I couldn't use my hands, so instead I jumped up and down in frustration. In that case, shall I assist you? Huh? You heard the man! It's breakfast time! Open wide, little heroine. Say, ah. I sat in my chair, hands still bound, as the wizard fed me my toast. It's so good! The bread in question was a small brochin breakfast roll. Brochin? I don't know. Anyway, baked by Gretel himself. Normally I would have liked to slather it in butter and jam, or even make a ham and cheese sandwich out of it, but this would have to do. Sure, it was plain bread, but it was still delicious by itself. Want more? Yes, please. At my request, the wizard grabbed another bite-sized piece of brochin and held it up to my mouth so I could bite it. I don't know how to say that. So much nicer than having a certain someone stuff it into my mouth without asking. Feels like I'm feeding a little rabbit. I stomped my foot in protest. So how did you get in here so easily? You know, all the locks on the door. Seriously, the dude practically waltzed in here. After he offered to assist me, I was like, how? And he was like this, and the door swung open. And since I didn't hear him unlock anything, it kind of left me with a lot of unanswered questions. I am the wizard, after all. Okay, then. He gave me one of his non-answers, and I shrugged it off. Conversation over. It's kind of actually nice because, look, I have very high hopes. If part 1 got localized and part 2 got then the third part should, and then I would assume that that would include the last 3 routes. One of which is the wizard, and the one's Alice, and then who the hell's the... Oh, Snow White. Snow White would be the other one. So, like, and I'm just curious, I want the wizard. Like, he's so strange. And you're like, I'm just really curious about the wizard's route, you know what I mean? Because he's here and all of them like, ooh, you fucked up, this is a bad ending. Like, or like shit like this, he's just like popping in and he's like feeding you and he's just like, what's up? I could tell you, but I'm not gonna. Like, well, I don't know that. I know everything but like, but that. And I don't know, I just am intrigued by the wizard and I want to know what the fuck his route's gonna be like. Ugh. That said, if he didn't want to reveal his secrets, then I couldn't exactly force him. No sense in pressing further. For now, anyway. Anyway, I wonder how Gretel would feel if he knew about us doing this. You know, having a visibly shady stranger feed me bread while I'm tied up? Or just having a man in general in this house. Aren't you more worried about what he would do in response? Same difference, really. I suppose so. The wizard laughed cheerfully. I couldn't really get a read on him. You know, you could have just untied me so I could eat, then tie me back up after. That would require more effort with the same outcome. This is functionally no different. It's pretty different to me. Then the wizard looked up suddenly. What is it? It seems your brother is on his way back. Huh? What shall we do about it? This question made me pause. I'd only just wondered how Gretel would react if he saw us. Was I about to find out? Sorry, but you gotta go. For some reason, the word infidelity came to mind. See what I'm saying? Like... Alrighty then. With a lighthearted wave, he headed for the door. And be sure to lock it behind you. I know. There's a lot more I want to say to you, but I'll limit myself to just one last thing. Thank you so much. Anytime. He opened the door and I caught a tiny glimpse of the world beyond. Wait, before you go! I stopped him one last time. He looked back over his shoulder at me. I hesitated for a moment, then asked, Will I see you again? Good question. Yes, I dare say you might. Until then, my little heroine. Farewell. Well, we get bad endings. That's why when he showed up, I was like, oh fuck, we fucked up already? See ya! As requested, he locked the door from the outside before he left. Once that lock was in place, I managed to lock it from the inside, too. What a strange man. I let out a breath and sat down on the spot. Everything about him was a total mystery, but I couldn't sense any ill will toward me. That said, if he was able to bypass Gretel's security system, then chances were good he was on the scheme. Just then I sensed someone on the other side of the door, so I rose to my feet. I heard the sound of the door unlocking, and then it opened. I'm home. Welcome home, Gretel. That was fast. Sure enough, here he was. I donned a smile to hide my internal panic. Did someone come visit? Will you be honest with Gretel? Oh, God. This is... We're gonna get... I don't... Should we... Do I... I don't... This is not... I don't... Do we want to be honest with him? Will you be honest with him? Should we just... I feel like... Oh, God. I feel like lying to him would be... Okay, well, here's the thing. We could say yes and be like, yeah, it was a wizard, and he came in and he fed me my toast. And he'd be like, okay, crazy bitch. He's like, you don't have to fuck with me. And hey, I told you the truth and you didn't believe me. But if we lie, I don't think the wizard and Gretel are in on this together. Like, whatever. But, like, because we've met the wizard before. You know what I mean? He's in all of them. But, like, what if Gretel was, like, seriously just outside watching the whole time? And we're like, nope. And then he's like, lies. Let's just go for... This is probably so bad. Yeah. I answered him honestly, and his expression twisted sharply. This could be so bad. Who was it? When? Did you talk to them? His voice was startlingly icy, and it made me flinch, but I quickly recovered. This might have been a bad idea. Just now. See? Little kitty cat's having trouble saying goodbye. What cat? I turned to the window. Outside I could see nothing but dense trees, casting shadows in the sunlight. So you saw those rippling shadows and thought it was a cat? Sonotori. That's right. I couldn't shoot him in the finger guns, so I settled for snapping my fingers. I would have just said, no, I swear there was a cat outside. Initially, Gretel seemed somewhat convinced, but then his gaze came to rest on one particular object in the room. What's wrong? That's strange. I thought you said you wouldn't eat it since you're not an animal or whatever. Well, I got really hungry. I was starving. I wanted to wait until you got home, but I just couldn't. So I bent over and ate it just like a cat. I hastily stumbled my way through an excuse. I see. Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. I'll try to come home faster from now on. He smirked faintly. Alas, I do wish I could have seen you degrade yourself as you bent over like a cat. Dream on! I glared at him. Here you are. Thank you. I parted my lips and sipped the hot chocolate Gretel had kindly reheated for me. Good girl. Well done. Once I finished my drink, Gretel wiped the corners of my lips with his thumb. You sure came home quick. Did you actually go to school? Of course I did. Where else would I go? I don't know. Back home, maybe? I tilted my head. I already explained this to you. This is our home now, sister. I couldn't confirm or deny it. I just hung my head and refused to answer at all. It was one of few options available to me. You lied to me, didn't you, sister? Huh? I looked up to find Gretel's face suddenly very close to mine. I tried to flinch away, but he reached out and cupped both of my cheeks in his hands, preventing my escape. But we told you the truth. Oh, God. So maybe whatever you yes or no, this still happens, this conversation. If you say no, nope, and then he's like, you lied to me. Technically, I didn't. Don't try to hide it. Someone came into the house while I was gone, didn't they? Yeah? I got the feeling there was no point trying to deny it any further, so instead I came clean. And he fed you the bread roll? Yeah? I nodded timidly. I see. His tone was surprisingly calm. I blinked. You're not mad? Oh, Would you like me to be? No, of course not. Truth be told, I'm positively furious on the inside. You could say I'm boiling with rage. Oh God, we're gonna die. His affable smile didn't reach his eyes. It was so intimidating. I felt the urge to scoot the whole chair away from him, but couldn't. But in this case, it was my fault. I was too lenient. If I'm going to keep you safe, I have to lock you up as tightly as possible. But why? What are you trying to protect me from? And how the fuck did you know someone was there? The demons. Demons? Correct. So you think Mr. Wizard is a demon? But even though I named my visitor outright, Gretel didn't have much of a reaction at all. You're very appetizing, so I have to keep you safe from the evil demons who would gobble you up. He's talking about other men. Like, what do you mean, gobble me up? Yeah, he's crazy. Well, for example, he let go of my face and brushed my hair away. What are you doing? Something like this. Then he put a hand to my neck, slid the fabric to the side, and leaned in. Oh, good God. Don't! I tried to pull away, but I was trapped. He grabbed both my shoulders to keep me from falling out of my chair. His breath tickled my neck, making me squirm. Ah! Then I flinched as his teeth gently grazed my skin. Ah! So sweet. His warm breath and wet teeth sent goosebumps prickling up my arms. Oh, sister, how sugary sweet you are. You're delectable. See, I told you he wanted to put it in his set. Look, she was always flirting with him. It was a weird fucking home situation. Batting our eyelashes and being so cutesy and adorable and overly loving. I'm sorry. It was a little flirty loving. It was a little... and he's already crazy. Did not help. I'm not blaming us necessarily, but I'm just saying we didn't help the situation because we were too blind to realize that he was just imagining all the dirty things he wanted to do to you. I get she might not actually have thought about that, considering the fact that he was always insulting us. But again, insulting us because he wanted to stick it in us. This is some fucked up shit. But it's a great train wreck. I'm really actually enjoying myself, aside from every once in a while where I want to slap him across the face for saying mean things. But this is so fucked up, I like it. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to keep it that way, but for right now, these first few parts, it's like, damn. I can't pull my eyes away. The word stop caught in the back of my throat. Gretel pulled his lips away from my neck, and I slowly looked up at him. His smile was incredibly seductive. Your skin's flushed, and your eyes are shimmering. And this is all your fault. Your sweet scent lured me in. Yeah, it's my fault that you're being pervy and rapey. Sure. Gretel? My heart thumped in my chest as I exhaled. And we're gonna get Stockholm Syndrome. Then I shook the thoughts from my mind and squeezed my eyes shut. I give up. Gretel? Instantly, I snapped to my senses and my eyes flew open. And then he does shit like this. He's like, I'm just joking. I don't think you are. I don't think you are. I think you're trying to pretend that you're joking. And if we were like, untie me and take me, Gretel, I think he would have. But we're like, what? And then he's like, I was just fucking with you. Why won't you love me? He's twisted fuck. Sure enough, my worst fears were confirmed. There stood Gretel, doubled over, laughing and clutching his sides. Again, no brother is going to kidnap his sister, practically rip the clothes off of his sister, and then, like, kiss his sister's neck just to fuck with her. That's just some creepy, weird shit. That's not a normal prank, okay? Were you just messing with me? Oh, I absolutely was. I apologize. Current mood. Kill me now. Is it fun humiliating me at every single opportunity? It sure is. He answered without batting a lash. Rage and humiliation welled in my chest until I was practically shaking. I was on the verge of hulking out and shredding these restraints. Oh, and for the record, I was just reciting lines from that bodice ripper I found in your room. Bodice ripper? For a moment I stared at him slack-jawed, but then I realized what he meant. A certain steamy Harlequin novel. All at once I exploded with volcanic rage. You read my book? Indeed I did. I found it by chance while looking for a dictionary, tucked behind the other books on the shelf. And you'd put a cover on it, too. Ugh! Clearly he could tell I'd been trying to hide it. But as I writhed in embarrassment, something occurred to me. So everything you said just now was from that book? And technically the book was just my inspiration. I put my own spin on it. God, why didn't I realize sooner? Because no brother goes to these lengths to fuck with his sister unless he's trying to actually fuck his sister. I'm just saying. I figured maybe that was the kind of thing you were into, and sure enough, it was super effective. I mean, just think about it. Wouldn't it be cringy if I actually meant all that stuff? You absolutely do, I know you do. It's not what you think! I bought it for the cover art! I didn't know it had that kind of content! I don't know what I was implying he was thinking, but I jumped to my own defense nonetheless. The cover. Oh, you mean that shaggy-haired prince or dude or butler or patissier or whatever, hugging the airhead princess chick? You claim you were tricked into buying it, and yet you seem to have read it quite heavily. Ah! I screamed to drown out his voice. Is that your type, sister? The male lead is a snarky, contrarian asshole who imprisons the heroine. And yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? You try... Okay. How can anyone fall for a loser like that? That's what you're trying to make us do. That's what you're absolutely trying to make us do. As much as I wanted to say, have you looked in the mirror lately? It would make it sound like I bought the book because the male lead resembled Gretel. I didn't want to dig my grave any deeper. As I endured the shame, Gretel leaned in to whisper the final blow. This completes your punishment. I'm sick of you. I'm never speaking to you again. This is your punishment for toying with my pure, innocent heart. I rose to my feet, dashed to the bed, and dove onto it. Then I buried my face into the sheet so I wouldn't have to look at him. After all, he'd just point out how red my face was and make fun of me some more, because I think she secretly is attracted to him, but I think he wants... Look, I think they both want to fuck each other, okay? Sister. The mattress creaked as Gretel sat down onto it. Please don't be mad at me, sister. I apologize for taking my joke too far. He shook me gently by the shoulder. But I ignored him. It's too late for you to try to take the high road now, bucko! Then my talented little adopted brother switched to a new, more annoying strategy. Okay, he's adopted. Sister. Sister. A big sister. Sis. Big sis. Sister dearest. I kept ignoring him. After all, I wasn't that easily bought. Elder sister. Sissy. Big sis. Esteemed sister. Honored sister. Beloved sister. Revered sister. Spacey. What do you want? I replied in a snippy tone to hide how delighted I was to hear him say my name. I didn't think that the easing was going to go that far, so we're going to be here forever. Strange. I thought you weren't going to speak to me anymore. I turned away sharply. Come on, I'm just messing with you. Don't turn away. Again, no brother messes with his sister in that kind of way. They might tease you about your book. Like, oh, you want Jake? There's some kid that you're attracted to. You want him to come in? Oh, I'm taking away. Oh. Like, they'll tease you about that book, but they are not going to, like, pull some of the shit from the... Like, that is some creepy, weird Jerry Springer level shit. So, all I'm saying, Gretel, you keep that up. You're joking with fucking air quotes around my ass. What's the magic word? He hesitated for a moment, then... Oh, let me see that pretty face. Another cheesy line from the Harlequin novel. Good enough. I giggled in spite of myself. She's enjoying it. When our eyes met, he smiled softly. But that smile was fleeting. I've noticed. Noticed what? No matter what I say, and no matter what I do, you'll simply never stop loving me, will you? Are you a masochist? Excuse me? Couldn't you have said you're very patient or something instead? I mean, he is not 100% wrong. Before I could snap back at him, he placed a hand over my eyes. Don't look at me like that, sister. Gretel? Otherwise, I might just... Might just what? Yeah. And this is where we're not blood related. Well, I mean, yes, you said adopted, and our brother actually told us he's not really our brother. We kind of know by now, but now they're like, now that we're 3 hours in, and you're kind of questioning all your life choices because she is clearly a little too interested in her brother, and he's trying to make out with her, and there's some weird fucking sexy vibes going on. We're just gonna hammer it in. Oh, by the way, you're not actually blood related. Don't get squicked out, but... Anyway, we'll continue this in the next part. This is a train wreck, and he can be a douche, and but it's good. It's so good. It is like an amazing train wreck. I can't pull my eyes away. And also, I'm not gonna lie, like, you're like, oh my god, this is there's some really inappropriate shit going down, and then he's like, haha, I'm kidding, and you're like, you motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie, I'm here for this kind of fucked up debauchery, like... I knew what was going to happen going into his route, okay? Like, I read the synopsis and I was like, all right, we're going to be imprisoned by our brother who wants to bang us, and okay, I knew what to happen going in, so I'm here for this, okay? I came in knowing full well what was going to happen and being like, we are going to enjoy, most likely, this train wreck. His taunting teasing does irritate me something like, be nice! Be nice while you do inappropriate things while I'm tied up. What? Oh, no, I really am enjoying this, though, and I shouldn't be, but here we are. Anyway, we will continue in the next part, which will be later today, since now we have decided, obviously you saw the first 2 parts last week, that I'm going to do 2 parts every Sunday. So you get your 2 hours a week, basically. I know it's not as much as we do with other games, but because I got 3 games going up at a time right now, I gotta give myself the time, so to make sure that I can record and balance everything out. So we're just going to do 2 hours a week of this since it's a one-off, so. But it should take us, because I assume the first part took us about 20 hours. This will take us about 20. That takes us into November, so. But anyway, yeah. So the next couple of months, you'll have this, so. I will see you guys later on today. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.